I'm intelligent.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Partisan Patriot podcast. Today I'm joined with my friend Hunter, and today we're going to be talking about Venezuela. So recently the United States has mobilized to Venezuela in one of the most awesome demonstrations of the United States Navy I think I've seen in a very long time. Along with this, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, or Secretary of War, has come out and officially stated that we have a plan to combat drug trafficking across the southern border. It is called the
Operation Southern Spear.
Operation Southern Spear. So,
which sounds tough.
oh dude, Pete Hegseth is like one of my favorite Americans. We've officially mobilized to combat drug cartels and drug trafficking along our southern border because it is a major problem. A lot of the drugs that enter the United States come from the southern border, and this is just simply the United States combating that problem.
This is the largest mobilization in the Southern Hemisphere since the Cold War. The United States has mobilized the largest aircraft carrier on the planet, the USS Gerald R. Ford, along with over a dozen warships, a couple of destroyers, a couple cruisers, an attack submarine, amphibious landing vehicles, all kinds of cool stuff, along with 15,000 troops and personnel, and 10 F-35s and one B-52 bomber stationed in Puerto Rico is where they're stationed at right now, to which the Puerto Ricans said they are glad the U.S. is there because they said, and quote, the U.S. is the strongest nation on the planet.
The United States has mobilized our troops into strategically placed bases in Puerto Rico so to be closer to the enemy, Venezuela. And the Puerto Ricans, you would think that they're frightened or they're scared or, if the United States is attacked, it's one of the bases, well, now that's an attack on mainland Puerto Rico by the Venezuelans, and that's just not the case. As a matter of fact, the Puerto Ricans have stated that they feel way safer with the United States there, stationed in Puerto Rico to combat Venezuela.
Samuel Rivera Baez is the mayor of the town located just next to the base. The F-35s wake us up in the morning, he told us. But is there a concern that if the United States engages in Venezuela, that Puerto Rico might become a target? Right now, the United States is the most powerful in the world, he told us. Having them here, taking care of us, we feel more than safe.
Which is just something you wouldn't have expected. They feel safer with F-35s waking them up in the morning. We have established air superiority via the Navy in one of the sexiest demonstrations. There is a picture, and I'll have it pulled up for you guys. It's a couple fighter jets and a bomber flying over the top of the Gerald R. Ford, our new helicarrier.
This is not Avengers.
I can't believe I said that.
Anyways, so what it actually is, it's the largest nuclear-powered aircraft carrier on the planet.
Watching American superiority be superior, I love it. And frankly, it makes me okay with paying taxes when I just watch people who are trying to ruin the lives of Americans for financial gain. Whether you're a corporate individual or you are trying to smuggle drugs across the southern border, I love to see you get annihilated. One of the big reasons this is in the news lately is because there have been conspiracy theories, or just, regular theories in here. I wouldn't say it's much of a conspiracy, that the United States plans on striking mainland Venezuela. Now, that would be very pivotal in the conflict at all, because till then, we would have only been doing what we're currently doing now, which is striking boats in international waters.
We're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
The United States has been trying to scare the Venezuelans into stopping drug production and smuggling into the United States. The reason the United States would strike mainland Venezuela or inland Venezuela at all is because we want to scare their government into prohibiting drug creation, production, smuggling. One big thing to highlight here, in contrast from previous administrations to our current one, and another reason that I really like Pete Hegseth so much is because the current administration has now addressed these perpetrators smuggling drugs and creating the issue of drugs as combatants. Previous administrations wouldn't refer to these perpetrators as combatants. calling for military action, but rather criminals. Criminals need to be charged. Though I don't appreciate the scandals that are involved with the administration, you have to admire the fact that they are doing something about the drug problem. Pete Hegseth is taking real action against this real problem.
Just to put into perspective, how much cocaine has come from Venezuela. This is just from one raid. This is from the Drug Enforcement Administration. It was reported that 30 tons was traced back to Venezuela. So we're going to say that that's all we know about, is just the 30 tons worth. So
one bust.
And this was 30 tons. So 1 ounce, according to Google, this is according to Google, I'm not a drug dealer, I don't know the skips of it. So apparently 1 ounce of cocaine is worth 6 grams. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to assume it is for the sake of this. There are 16 ounces in a pound. That's going to give us 96,000 for 1 pound. Now, the only issue is there's 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. So we're going to have to multiply that by 2,000. That's going to give us 192 million for a ton of cocaine. There's 30 of those. So we're going to multiply that by 30. And that's going to give us the total for 30 tons of cocaine. 5,760,000,000.
700 billion and $1.3 trillion.
So $5.7 billion for one bust.
For one bust. Now, here's the crazy part. Venezuela's GDP as of 2025 is $82.77 billion. Okay, that is almost 7% of Venezuela's GDP.
It's very easy to see why the Venezuelan government would want to protect this trade, is because it is supporting 7% of their GDP.
Venezuela's president compared an American ground strike to Gaza, another Afghanistan, and another Vietnam. And the best way I can really interpret that is he's saying that it's going to negatively affect America on a global stage. Because if you think about what happened in all those, Vietnam, we lost a shit ton of men. We lost Vietnam. The Viet Cong took over. Communism spread. If you look at Afghanistan, the Taliban took over. Biden pulled us out. Afghan fell. Why he's comparing it to Gaza? I'm going to assume that he's trying to say that Venezuela's innocent in all this, just like they're trying to say Hamas is innocent in everything that they're doing.
Right.
And America's just going to be striking down innocent people. I'm thinking it's all to kind of paint America as the bad guy here.
Yeah.
To keep Venezuela's drug trade alive, because as we previously stated, 7% of their GDP lies in the drug trade.
Yeah.
And that's at least. That's just what the DEA has traced back to them. This is obvious. There's plenty more that can be traced back to them.
The U.S. government's response to all of this is, again, we've mobilized our Navy, and we've demonstrated naval superiority and air superiority via the Navy. Because this is just fun to say, the first best Air Force in the entire world is the United States Air Force.
The second is the U.S. Navy.
Is the U.S. Navy. We have quite literally done zero negotiating with these combatants, as they're labeled by the new administration and Pete Hegseth. We've just blown them up. And it's exactly like Donald Trump said, you're going to be like dead.
We're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. We're going to kill them. They're going to be like dead.
We're going to try to keep it as little opinionated as possible, and you can kind of go off of what's happened where you can kind of see where it's going to be going. So the U.S. has already mobilized 15,000 troops. They have amphibious landing craft in their little armada sitting off Caracas right now.
Yeah.
The Venezuelan president has made it pretty clear he's not going to do anything about it.
No. And they have mobilized. Yeah. They've mobilized to the edge of their borders.
They have mobilized. They are training weekly in Venezuela. There's a $50 million reward to arrest Venezuela's president at the moment.
Yep.
So where does it go from here? I'm going to say that there's probably going to be a land strike on Venezuela. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think this is going to be a 2026 thing. But there's not going to be any diplomacy met. I mean, you can't have somebody that's going to be in that much denial and say there's not a problem.
Yeah.
Because very clearly there is. I mean, like as mentioned already in this, 7% of your GDP is because of an illegal substance.
Yeah.
He's not backing off of that. Trump is, as we've seen before, is probably not going to back down. So I fully see strikes coming probably next year. They're going to go after their president. They already have plans for what that would look like, where they're instating an elected leader. Obviously, it's going to be sympathetic to the United States. I think we need to assist the Colombians in cracking down on the drug trade. Hopefully, they'll be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Gracious, accepting, kind.
Yes, than Venezuela has, and hopefully we will not have to invade them, but if we do, we do.
Yeah, I would personally like to see this go in a little different way, although those are great predictions. I mean, to have a land strike, I mean, that's likely going to happen, especially since they've mobilized their troops, and if there's any crossfire, if there's any firing upon the United States, we already have a large station of our Navy right off the coast of Venezuela. So I wouldn't want to find out what our largest carrier in history would do
to an innocent little South American country.
Yeah, although I would like to see it. I think it would be pretty cool to see what our new carrier could do, but I would not want to be on the receiving end of the United States' brand new Gerald R. Ford, or our bombers, or our F-35s, or any of the United States power, because frankly, you just don't come back from it unless you're the Taliban.
And I forgot to mention this earlier. There's also speculation that the United States has Delta Force on the scene. If you want to go even more into theories about what's going on down there, you have rumors of the most secretive and elite force on the planet in Venezuela.
Yeah, no,
There's
definitely.
Possibility that they might even be already on the ground. Who knows?
I mean,
that might be who is claiming the $50 million bounty.
I mean, the United States was able to do this to Iran in the 50s. We overthrew an Iranian establishment, placed our own American individual in office in Iran, and that, I would say, contributed to the Islamic Revolution of Iran. But that doesn't matter. But along with it, I mean, this week we've given, what was it, $300 million?
$330 million to Taiwan. That's another thing we were supposed to cover.
What are we doing? Why are we establishing other militaries when we can just do it ourselves? We can just do it ourselves. We've established ourselves in Puerto Rico so we can combat Venezuela. These are things we can do on our own. We don't have to go and give F-35s to other countries. Those are our planes. We don't need to do that. We can have our planes for ourselves. Because if China takes Taiwan, well, now they just have our F-35s.
And now they have they can break them down, look at all the research in them, and then they're going to
reverse engineer.
Reverse engineer them. Now they're mass producing our own 5th generation aircraft, and now American equipment is attacking Americans.
And I mean, that's another thing that we did in Afghanistan. We just left all of our equipment there. And now the Taliban has all of that equipment. China, since then, had been in cahoots with the Taliban, who had all of our military equipment. What are they going to do with that? We don't need to be giving money, weapons, materials to other countries. Just establish ourselves in that area. Same way we've done here in the new modern drug war. Just go and do it ourselves because we freaking can. We're the best. No one beats America. The only people who beat America are Americans, right? Any war we've been in that we've lost has been due to political reasons in the United States. In a military context, the United States has never been bested because we have the ability to put ourselves where we need to be, such as Puerto Rico to combat Venezuela. Where I would like to see this go is we just get rid of Venezuelans trying to trade drugs, just airstrike after airstrike, and then maybe eventually their GDP will diminish enough for them to realize our GDP is being negatively affected, and it's diminishing because the Americans are just so great at what they're doing, which is blowing us up. And then they hold an election and do it themselves. I would hate to see this go down in the fashion that the Americans have to step in and interfere with another election because it's just undemocratic. If you can't convince the government that it's doing a bad job, you convince the people that their government is doing a bad job. And then the people will create a new government. Because currently trying to convince the president that his people are doing wrong, it's not working. So you need to convince the people that their president is doing wrong. And the way that we do that is we get rid of the drugs, and we get rid of the drugs that stabilize their economy. And I know that sounds horrendous, But that's the only way in which we can do it, because we've tried talking to the president. He said there's no problem. And he's directly contributing to the problem. We get rid of the drugs that stabilize their economy. When they realize their economy is diminishing, then they hold an election, then they primary their president, they get him out of office, and they fix Venezuela. I don't want to see the American government go in there and overthrow the government and establish someone who's an American sympathist, because we tried that in Iran and it didn't work. Tried that in the 50s, didn't work. What happened in the 50s, we started an Islamic revolution with that. We don't need that to happen again. So instead of this being another Gaza or another Afghanistan or another Vietnam, this could be another Iranian Islamic revolution, and we don't need another one of those. I would say best course of action is we just keep getting rid of the people trying to bring in the drugs. They're going to be like dead. It seems politically unethical to infiltrate a government in order to make it more sympathetic to our country. I just don't. I feel like it's much more truthful to establish ourselves and say, hey, we're going to get the power that we need from you, and we're not going to change you for it. That is the best kind of diplomacy, is when we can actually come to a common agreement without, like, scandals. You're also going to give me your F-35s. You're also going to give me blah, 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 because I have the Epstein files. I have Biden's laptop. I feel like it's politically unethical to infiltrate a government in order to make it more sympathetic for us.
In my opinion, there's a little bit of a difference when you're just taking out the problem and then you don't install your own thing. You let the people, but you help the people take away what's controlling them now. Because the dude's been in power forever. He does a bunch of corrupt shit. He's paid off by the cartel. The cartel's everywhere. So odds are he's not really elected. He's probably got a ton of strings.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm saying the United States is probably going to have to go in and help the people take them away. Not implement someone and then have a foothold over Venezuela.
Yeah.
But help the people get free.
Yeah, no, I feel like when we're talking about this, the people are the most important part. Still, though, I just see a flaw when we're taking down an entire established government, because the people established that government.
But did they? We're talking about a cartel-funded Venezuela.
It's super difficult.
You could argue it back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because on one hand, you have, are the people really comfortable with their government, is one big question. If they're not, how do we help that? Should we help that? Is their government going to fix itself, or is it too far gone? Is it too corrupt? Now, I'm no expert in Latin American governments, but I will say that Latin Americans are generally more violent, especially in revolutionaries. I feel like if we were to slowly diminish the GDP by combating the drugs, the people would do a fine enough job by taking back their representation.
And that's fair.
Leave what you think in the comments. We would love to hear what you have to say. I am Corbin, this is Hunter, and we will catch you guys next time.